Hey guys, I'm just making a quick video about making the fabric masks. A lot of places are out of elastic. Our city, several shops are, I think everywhere I've called and then everywhere anyone else online has called. There are other options that people are using. A few things that I've seen online are rubber bands. I am personally not going to use that idea because I think it would be way uncomfortable, and sewing through a rubber band, they're going to rip. So I'm not using rubber bands. I've also seen hair ties, and you can get dollar store headbands and cut those in half. And so I think those are great ideas. I am personally going to start using t-shirts and making straps out of t-shirts. So if you guys, there's tons of tutorials on how to make fabric yarn. I'm not going to make a tutorial. I just wanted to show you what I'm going to be using for a little bit. I've got a bunch of, not a bunch, but well, a few. I sold the t-shirt yarn necklaces like 10 years ago, whenever those were a thing, at a local art gallery that did an upcycling show. And so I have these necklaces that I made. Here's my favorite. Go Pokes, go Pokes. But they're super easy to make this. If you have any t-shirts, I think you can get t-shirts at the dollar store, some dollar stores, not all of them. And Walmart has them. They're pretty cheap, and you can get a ton of these for $1. And so what you do is get like an extra large shirt, the biggest shirt you can find, cut the bottoms off, and then cut strips about an inch wide, and then you'll pull the strips tight. These ones were probably an inch, and then pulled tight to make the yarn. And then since it's t-shirt material, it doesn't fray too much. And my thinking is I'm going to use a piece that's about 7 inches, 2 on each side, and I'll sew them in just like the elastic, but instead of making a loop, I'll have them just be straight out. My sewing machine, there's also people that have been using bias tape, and my sewing machine can't quite handle the gathers and the bias tape. It's too thick. I get big knots and it jams up, and the bias tape isn't really an option for me. And I think the headbands and ties as well would either need a loop to put on it or would need to be sewed on along the edges. And I don't think my sewing machine can handle those options. Also, putting a needle through a rubber band is just going to put holes in it and rip really easily. So I'm going to try some with the t-shirt idea. So if you guys are looking for an idea, hopefully this will be helpful. Hopefully you either have some old t-shirts laying around that you don't know what to do with. You can cut the design. If you have one that has print on it, you can cut the print off and save that for another project maybe, and then just cut strips on the rest of it. Sometimes the players that have the graphic on it are not going to make this as nice. It's going to have I don't think I used any that had designs. I used the design, I cut them out for other things. But you're going to have parts that are kind of like this and harder, and so maybe you're more of a pain. Also, doctors, I've heard their nurses and doctors are preferring the tie ones anyways over the elastic. So even though the elastic is easier to make in a lot of ways, I think some people will be preferring these ones. So other things about the masks, I did talk to our local employees at the hospital, and some of the things like making the ones that have filters, that have slots for filters, are great because hospitals do have access to filters. It's hard for us to buy them because they're really expensive online or sold out everywhere, but hospitals are able to get the professional filters. Also the professional masks, you can take the filters out of those, save them, and put them into another mask. And so having a pocket is really helpful, but also you don't need to worry as much about getting the filters if it's been a big challenge. And then that's Tri-Cities. Specifically spoke to someone from Cadillac at the drop office at the Tri-Cities Visitor Center. I asked her other questions as well. Call the Benton Franklin Health Department if it's after Wednesday to drop off and you want to donate things. They are taking anything. They do think that masks are helpful, even homemade masks, because even a sneeze or that type of thing will keep it from spreading. We'll keep it from spreading. It's better than nothing. And like she said, also the filters they have the professional grade filters you can put inside of it. So those are good things. Also, if you know individuals that work in at-risk situations or with at-risk people groups, text them, ask them if they need masks, if it's something that's helpful for either nurses, doctors, but also people who maybe have health issues, people who are going to have babies, new babies, people who are going to be in the hospitals at this time, people working with older people, those types of things. Ask those individuals if they're looking for masks, because some people are. There's a couple people locally that are looking for masks, and it's kind of a tricky thing with some people are selling them because I think people need money, and selling them for $3 or whatever, you're not really making money. You're just breaking even depending on what supplies you're using. Also, if you only hand sew, you can still make them. There's plenty of tutorials online that you can make using just a needle and thread. You can get a needle and thread from the dollar store with, it's not super high quality, but it will work. Also, Walmart would have better thread and better needles too. The dollar store needles are not easy to thread. Yeah, I think that's all for now. I hope this is helpful. I'm not going to edit. I'm just going to put this up on YouTube, and hopefully this is helpful for someone. So, see you guys.